Hi everybody, so I just want to share this video with those who are stuck at home with your kids. We're all dealing with this coronavirus and have to do home schooling now, and I know a lot of you are struggling having your kids home all day and it's not summer break and it came upon you all of a sudden, and so I just wanted to be a blessing and just share some tips with you all who are dealing with your kids being home all day, trying to do school and trying to balance it all. So I hope this is a blessing. First, let me say homeschool is not brick and mortar school. It looks different in every household. Some will do it here at the kitchen table, some will do it in the living room, in their own bedrooms, at the coffee table, on the floor, outside. Do whatever makes you comfortable. Do what the kids feel like they feel comfortable doing. It's just going to look different. It's stressful enough for everybody that the kids are home doing school. So let them do it where they feel, where there's less distractions and where they feel like they can be productive. So with that said, I think one of the most important tips is definitely try to have some kind of structure in your day. I don't mean like an hour by hour, like this time we're going to do this and this time we're going to do that. More like, like in the mornings we're going to do this. Hold on, my phone is falling, so just let me fix it before it falls. Like the morning will look like this, and then the afternoon, late afternoon, and then evening, something so that you have a general idea of what you're doing. You don't have to print it out and put it color coded. You just write down a scrap piece of paper on some like a little piece of notebook paper, something like that, something where you can see it and kind of keep yourself on track and accountable. Keep it simple, don't stress, and be flexible. Homeschooling is a big part of it is being flexible with your kids. Listen, they all learn differently. They all have different personalities. Try to work with that as best as you can. It will totally save your sanity if you get that as soon as possible. I'm just going to go on here. So something that I want to share with you is kind of like a day in the life of a homeschooler, something that's helped us in the 10 years that we've been homeschooling. So this is a little bit like that. So mornings. In the mornings, help your kids get up around the same time each day. You don't have to get them up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning anymore. Unless they have some kind of online class they have to go to. I know for Noah, he's in college now doing some courses online, all of his courses online. And he has a professor in particular that has an 8:30 a.m. class on a live feed. So he says, I guess I can go there, or I don't have to. But I'm like, if he expects you to be there, you should be there. But so unless you have a situation like that, let your kids sleep in. The rest is good for them. They're growing and they're stressed too. So you know what? It'll give you a little bit of peace in the morning. It'll give them some rest in the morning, unless you have little ones. They get up very early, so sorry about that. So especially like your junior and senior high kids, let them sleep in, but don't let them sleep in too much, because they will sleep till like noon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I really mean that. So let them sleep in a little bit, but help them to get up and get themselves going in the morning. Encourage them to begin their day with the 3 B's. Bed, breakfast, and Bible. Something that we really try to adhere to, especially when the kids were younger and I had all 3 of them at home homeschooling. So they get up, they make their bed, they have breakfast, and then they spend some time in the Word. A psalm, a proverb, a short devotional, some time in prayer with the Lord, something to get them started with their day in the right mindset. It's good for all of us. It's a habit that I have most every morning. I spend time in the Word, I spend time in prayer, and it just helps set the tone of the day. For your younger readers, we used to use Keys for Kids. It was like a little short story devotional with a verse that you can share with them, something like that. There's tons of devotionals out there that you can Google and use. So that's what like our earlier part of the morning would look like. Bed, breakfast, and Bible. Once all that was done, then it was time for school. Try to encourage your kids to do the harder subjects first. They're not going to want to. They're going to want to put that off for last. We're procrastinators, right? So we want to put off the harder, yucky stuff for last. But really encourage them to get that out of the way. It helps them have a sense of accomplishment and kind of like they're fresh and ready to go. They've slept, they've eaten, and they should be ready to tackle the harder subjects first. Math or grammar, English, anything like that. Anything that they struggle with, try to help them to get that done first. If this proves to be challenging, your child does better saving the harder subjects for later, let them. Again, you want to be flexible. So another point is, let them take breaks if necessary after each subject or after every couple subjects. Some kids can manage getting all their work done at once, and then they're like, all right, I'm done. I got the rest of the day to relax. Some kids need breaks, like after every subject, after every couple subjects. Whatever works for your kid, let them do that. They'll learn better that way, and they retain information better that way as well. Let's see. So otherwise, yes, I'm just reading some notes here on my paper. Sorry about that. So again, if they have some kind of restriction, like a teacher needs them to have an assignment in at a certain time, or they need to be online at a certain time, obviously you have to do that when you have to. But if there are no restrictions, let them try to get them to do the harder subjects and then the easier subjects as it goes along. And listen, for these kids, they're doing school at home. It's not like coming home and doing homework. They have to do all their subjects at home, and it's really stressful. Just trying to help them understand how they work, it's really going to save you a lot of arguments and frustration and crying. So try to figure out as quickly and as best as you can what's going to work for each child. And again, be flexible. It's so important to be flexible. Our homeschool day does not take 6 hours. It does not take us 6 hours. I don't think it's ever taken us 6 hours to do school. I've had my children, when they were in younger grades, they would be done school in like 2 hours. My high schoolers, 3, maybe 4 hours, depending on how hard the subject was. If they were struggling in like Algebra 2 or Pre-Calc or something like that, or their grammar assignment or something, or they're working on a research paper, then that would cause them to spend more time. But listen, they're home. Let them do the school. Let them get it done. Along with that, I had children who, as soon as they got up and did the 3 B's, they got right to work, they got their work done, and then they had the whole rest of the day to themselves. And that's totally fine. But then I had a child who he or she had a hard time getting going in the morning. And so they did better actually doing their schoolwork in the afternoons. That was really hard for me to deal with because all right, I have a list. I'm going to check it off. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Try to be regimented. But this child was really struggling. And so I had to be flexible, and I had to let them do the schoolwork on their timetable, still making sure that they were getting the work done. But sometimes they just couldn't get moving until later in the afternoon, and that's totally fine. That's a great thing about homeschooling. So those were our mornings. Now, once the morning part is done, the harder subjects, if possible, breakfast, all that stuff, you're in the afternoon, now it's lunchtime. And then, we'll sit around and we'll have lunch. When they were really little, I would let them watch 30 minutes of TV, like a cartoon or whatever, while they were eating lunch. They would make their own lunches, help me make lunches, whatever. And then after that, we would do the easier subjects. Basically, reading, their math drills, like doing their multiplication, addition, subtraction, time drills, things that, in the afternoon, you don't need a lot of, energy to do. You can just sit and relax and do it, or it doesn't take a lot of thought to do. So that's why we always tried to save the easier subjects for after, like, lunch. So a lot of times we would do the reading. They were always reading books constantly. And then once they were done, I would allow them, after they're done school, I would allow them screen time. You want to watch TV, you want to play a video game, a computer game, be on your iPad, whatever. Like, that's at your discretion. That's something I will let them do. They weren't allowed to do it until after they were done school. And again, even with my child who couldn't do school until the afternoon, he was not allowed any screen time until after school was done. So that was on him. But we're all stuck at home. We're all quarantined now with this coronavirus. So you know what? Give them as much screen time as your sanity needs. Like, seriously. But at the same time, I would encourage you to, turn everything off at one point in time during your day and have them read a book or play a game or do a puzzle. My kids never willingly wanted to do that, so I would trick them. What I would do is I would leave books around the house, like on the sofa, on the table, like, places where I know if they're sitting down or relaxing or whatever, they pick it up. Just out of curiosity, they would pick it up and start reading, or, invite another kid to come play with them, or just do a puzzle. If you tell them, hey, I want you to go read, they're not going to do it. They don't listen. These kids, it's like, just go do what I told you to do. So I had to learn really quickly. I got to trick these kids, and I have to, like, kind of put it in their way in order for them to take advantage of it. So maybe that'll work for you. I don't know. But so yeah, that's basically our homeschool day. It's really quick and done. And even when I had all three of them, one would be in one bedroom, the other would be in another bedroom. And then if a child was struggling with something, we would sit at the kitchen table and do it together. Usually it was math. Almost always it was math. Oh my goodness. So many tears with math. But anyway, so, we did school all over the house. Don't stress about, we have to have a schoolroom and this is where school has to be done. Please be flexible with your kids, or they're going to hate learning. You want to keep them loving to learn. Keep it interesting. I do want to share some resources with you guys that I've used personally to help the children understand concepts, or they've used. One of them is Khan Academy, KHAN academy.org. We went on there for math all the time. I had to, like, rewatch algebra videos over and over again just so that I can teach my kids a concept that they weren't getting in algebra, or like with multiplication or something like that. It was a huge help to me, because sometimes them watching a video, depending on what kind of learner they are, a visual learner, kinesthetic learner, auditory learner, it just depends. So, like, one kid could sit and watch the video and get it, another kid, or like, you have to break this down for me. So it was hard. I had to sit and watch the videos and then kind of like reteach them, kind of break it down for them in a simpler way. Khan Academy, the way this guy explains math concepts, he's a genius, honestly. It helped us immensely. It really did. Another resource, the Bucks County Library. I know they're closed now because of, again, coronavirus, but they have an e-library, and if you go on their website, buckslib.org, they have resources like ebooks and learning sites for kids, books that you can, on Hoopla, that you can like check out and read. It's so much on there. Please take advantage of our county's library system. It has come a long way in 10 years, and they offer so many resources, so many free resources. So hopefully you have your library card, so that you can take advantage of that. Another one that we use for junior and senior high kids is sparknotes.com. For instance, Lily's reading 1984 by George Orwell, I think it is. And, that's kind of a hard concept of a book because it's like kind of a dystopian, kind of weird genre thing for her to wrap her mind around. So it's a good site to go on, read up on a summary. Like for me as the teacher, I would read up on the summary and look at everything on there so that I can kind of help her understand what she's reading. I've never read the book myself. A lot of the books the kids have read in high school, for homeschool, I've never read myself. I probably should, but at least sparknotes.com is there so that I can kind of help them, guide them through the harder books that they're reading. And it's great too because not only do they have summaries and things like that, but they also have like a whole book quiz, like a test that they can take. So I'm able to give them that test to make sure that they've really got the book for the most part. And of course there's YouTube, science experiments, history channel, so many things on YouTube that we've used. When the kids couldn't do a science experiment at home, I'd have them watch it on YouTube, and they would be able to see it be done there on screen and would get the concept rather than just reading through it in a dry science book. So YouTube is a really great resource for even English classes, like composition classes, things like that. So really, that's all I have. Again, I just want to encourage you guys, hang in there. You guys, you can do it. If I can do it without losing my mind sometimes, you guys can do it. I know you can. Just be patient with your kids. This is on you for them, learning at home, doing school at home. There's a lot of distractions. Be kind to them. Show kindness as much as you can. If you can't, listen, walk away. I can't tell you how many times I've walked away before I lost it because it's hard. Homeschooling kids, having your kids at home and them doing work at home, it's hard. But you can do it. There's not much longer to go for this. Hopefully it'll end quickly. The end of the school year will be coming up soon, right? So have hope in that. And if y'all need anything, if there's something I didn't cover in this video, or if you have a question, you can, private message me, text me, leave a message in the comments, and I will absolutely work hard to get you that answer. I just want to be a help and a blessing as much as possible. So, work with your child's strengths, work with their weaknesses, celebrate those little victories, and you guys, you're going to get through this. I promise you. All right. So that's it. I hope this was helpful. I hope it's a blessing, and y'all hang in there, praying for all of you. I really am. And we love you all.